Hey YouTube, this is the Witch3 from twitch.tv. I'm making a new series called Let's Learn the Mods. The idea behind this series is to teach mods in a semi-organized fashion. There's a lot of tutorials out there that they have entire videos dedicated to one mod, and it's kind of a pain to go through the entire tutorial for just one aspect that you're looking for. So what I'm going to try to do is organize my tutorials upon like early aspects of the mod, late aspects, advanced usage, and whatnot. So today we're going to start off with Tinker's Construct. I'm going to start off with the basics of making tools that don't involve metal and whatnot, because metal is a whole different aspect. I'll also cover modifiers today and parts, as well as the patterns used to make each part. So let's get started. To start off, you make these things called blank patterns. I'm going to assume when I'm teaching things, you guys know how to look up things in NEI. So blank patterns. We're able to toggle through the list of things via the next pattern, previous pattern, and whatnot. And when you need a pattern, you just take it out, and then you can put it in this chest. It's called the pattern chest. This strictly only holds patterns. As you can see, I got a lot of patterns in here. This is actually every pattern, I believe. So let's start. We can go over to part builder. If you put the part builder down next to the chest, you can actually pull patterns out from the chest. So let's start by making a pickaxe. We're going to use a stone head, which gives us the ability stonebound. If you don't know what stonebound is, basically as the durability drops, it mines faster. We will then use slime for the tool rod. This adds a bunch of durability. It's a lot slower if you make it out of a large amount of slime, but it definitely lasts much longer. So in conjunction with stonebound, this is a pretty good item to use. Then we'll use paper for the binding. What paper allows us to do is it gives us one modifier slot, but it's also pretty terrible stats. So it's assumed that you're going to improve this this tool overall by using modifiers. So we'll use the paper binding, and let's go make our pickaxe. Alright, so we'll put the paper binding in, stone pickaxe head, and the tool rod. Alright, so as you see, we get a durability of 196. The mining speed is going to be 4, which is pretty low. But if you made this out of all slime, it would be extremely low. Then we get a mining level of iron, aka we can't mine anything like redstone or obsidian, but we can mine things like stone and iron. Okay, and we get a modifier of 4 remaining. Most tools innately have 3 modifiers, but since we have the paper binding, we get 4 modifiers. Alright, so then if you want to start adding modifiers to it, you click over here, which is repair and modification. Alright, you can always repair this tool. It'll never disappear forever. Essentially, you repair it by using an item that made up the tool. I believe this will be repaired by stone, not slime. And say if you primarily made a tool out of iron, you would have to use iron. Out of manilian, you'd have to use manilian. I believe even if you use a little bit of manilian, you're probably required to use manilian to repair it. Alright, so let's start by adding modifiers. We're going to add luck. The thing about luck is when you get to 100 lapis, you get fortune 1, I believe, and then 300 is fortune 2, or it's 200, somewhere around there. It might be 250, and then 450 is fortune 3. So keep that in mind when you're trying to up it. It takes a lot of lapis. You can always use lapis blocks or just singular lapis. Lapis blocks obviously adds 9, or you can even put a lapis block here and a lapis lazuli here, and you can increase it by 10 every time. Or you can just do this, which is 2 lapis blocks. That's honestly the fastest way to add luck. So we'll just add luck. I'm not going to spend the entire time adding 450 lapis to the thing. Alright, so next thing we want to do is add speed. Now, as you can see, we have 18 out of 50 if we use this. This uses 1 modifier. But if we pass the 50 cap, we can get 2 modifiers. For some reason, this doesn't want to do it. That's interesting. All right, let me get out some redstone real quick, and we're going to try this. I believe it didn't like that it took it that far past, so we'll do it 47, 48, 49, 50, and there we go. So as you can see, this will add it to 50. So if since we went past 50, that'll use an extra modifier slot. So essentially what you don't want to do is, if you're at 50, don't add it to 51 unless you really plan on using that extra modifier slot. And you can keep going with this past 100, but we're not going to do that. Next, we can add, I don't know, we can use Silk Touch on it, which is added from a Silky Jewel. For some reason, it's not allowing me to add it, but, yeah, that's right. That's one thing I did want to tell you. If you have luck on here, you cannot use Silky Jewel because they don't stack. So don't bother using Silky Jewels unless you don't put luck on it. Or, yeah. So next we can add diamond. Diamond increases the mining level, as you can see. We can now mine obsidian with a diamond, and we get an extra 500 durability. Okay? Now we're out of modifiers. You can add 2 extra modifiers to a weapon. This is excluding anything with paper or whatever. So we'll add a block of gold and a diamond. This gives us 1 modifier. And then to get your second modifier, you require another star. You can't use these twice. You can't use 2 blocks of gold and 2 diamonds to get 2 modifiers. It just won't happen. Okay, so now we added 2 modifiers. So let's add an emerald to it. This increases the durability by 50%, as well as increasing the mining level. Although diamond took us up to obsidian, so it doesn't matter. But you want to kind of get past obsidian if you plan on mining cobalt and ardite, which is found in the nether. So you probably want to use a better pickaxe head like iron or whatnot if you're mainly after cobalt and ardite, which is used to make manilian, which is essentially the best alloy in the game. Alright, so we added that. Now we have a choice between ball of moss or lava crystal. We could use ball of moss if we're specifically mining with luck, but if we're strip mining, ball of moss isn't advised because it is fairly slow. If you're strip mining, lava crystal probably would be ideal, which is auto smelting. Or you could just keep adding redstone and use up that last slot. It's really up to you. We're just going to add a lava crystal. So now we've used all our modifiers, and we have luck, haste, durability, plus 500, durability plus 50%, and auto smelt. And this is a pickaxe I made earlier, which is basically 100 redstone, 100 lapis. I don't think I made a full 450, but trust me, it adds fortune 3. Now let's get started with, say, swords. Swords have different abilities, as you can see. We got the ability block. Increases block, damage moderate, durability high, and then this is the items required. You got the longsword, which gives you charge boost, and special ability lunge, aka you lunge at the mob. Probably not ideal for creepers. Damage moderate, durability moderate. You get rapier, which is damage low, durability low. This thing is designed for killing things with, you guessed it, armor. Since it has armor pierce, it also has a quick strike, charge boost, and you can backpedal with the right click. You don't get block. Backpedal replaces block. This is definitely ideal for killing creepers because if, say, a creeper is about to explode, you could just click backpedal and you'll back up. Unless you back up in the wall, then it's not ideal. You get daggers, which is essentially just a throwing item. It's just a supposed cheaper version of the bow. You get damage low, durability moderate. You can obviously pick it back up. Frying pan, which is used for blocking, really high block rate. You can also cook things in this if you set it on the ground. Damage is extremely low. And then you get the battle sign. I believe the battle sign is for knockback. and then you get damage low, durability average, and you get a decent amount of block from this also. But if you want block, you're going to want to go with the frying pan. Chisel is used for decorative stuff. You can turn sandstone into sand bricks and whatnot. Bow is pretty self-explanatory. Depending on what you make it out of, its quality will be either really slow or really fast. Arrows you can pick back up, and you can add modifiers to it like damage and whatnot. I'll get into that in a little bit. Alright, so let's start off with the Broadsword, which takes a sword blade, wide guard, and a handle. So let's set our sword blade, wide guard, and handle to the side. So there's our wide guard, and then our tool rod, which is our handle. Let's just use netherrack for this. Mining speed obviously does not matter. Okay, so as you can see, material cost 0.5. I didn't get into that earlier, but essentially a block is worth 1 material point. Shards are worth 0.5, so if we use a shard, it'll make it. But if it requires anything above 0.5 and you use a shard, it won't make it unless you have a large amount of them. And then we'll use obsidian for the blade. As you can see, attack 1 heart. You can also use flint too, which is pretty good. I'm just using obsidian for no specific reason. Right? And then let's put together our sword. Put the obsidian blade in there, and all that. There we go. We got our modifiers 3 sword with 3 hearts and a durability of 128. As you can see, it has a reinforced 3 and stonebound. Netherrack as well adds stonebound to your item. Stonebound isn't really ideal for a weapon, it's more of a mining ability. Okay, so let's start off with our modifiers. We already know about the whole durability and whatnot, so I'm not going to add that. We'll use Necrotic Bone. Necrotic Bone adds a lifesteal to your sword. You can then use Nether Quartz. This is the same as redstone. You can go up to a certain amount, and then if you go over it, well, actually, if I believe it's, yeah, if you go over it, it'll use another modifier. So I'm just going to add 1 to it. You're obviously not going to do that, but yeah. Then you got Consecrated Soil. This adds Smite, which is basically kills undead. Then let's see, we can have Blaze Powder, which caps at 25. It does not go beyond that. And it adds fiery. It lights things on fire. You can use a Piston, which adds knockback. You can add Obsidian plus an Ender Pearl, which gives you beheading. You can always add luck to it with the lapis. You can add fermented spider eyes for Bane of Arthropods. So let's just do that. And then we'll add diamond, which, oh, we're out of modifiers. Okay, so let's just add our modifiers. And you can do this, the nether star and the block of gold and diamond in any other order that you choose. So we'll just add pushback and fiery. For no specific reason, I'm just adding things to it. Alright, so we got our sword done. So let's start with a bow and arrow. For the bow, we'll need 2 tool rods, string, and for the arrows, we'll need, we can use cactus for the arrows. Cactus is very nice. You can also use these for swords as well. It adds a spiny effect, essentially more damage. Okay, so we got our arrows, we got our tool rod, we got our bowstring. I don't know why anyone would make their tool rod out of cactus. That doesn't sound like a good time, but hey, if you're into that, you can absolutely do it. Alright, so we got that. And then we just need, let's use, unfortunately we can't cast iron, so we're going to use that out of cactus. And we need fletchings, so we need feathers. So we'll get a bunch of feathers. Alright, so let's just make what we need real quick. Fletching. Let's make like 10 of those, and I can delete those later. Arrowhead we'll make out of cactus. Now your arrows stack up to 16, just so you know. So it's your it's 20 actually. It's 20. Let's make the tool rod out of bone. I'm not going to take my time to take those stuff out, so we'll just go with that. And then actually let's make 3 tool rods because we're going to make a bone bow. Do that, and then bowstring. Remove that. We got our bowstring. I'm sorry about my inventory, guys. All right. Like the cactus. Everything disappeared. That's fine. All right. So we got our bow from here, and then we can make our arrows. So this, and this will give us 4 arrows, and as you see, it has the jagged effect. It's either bleed or more damage, one of the two. So we'll do this, and then we'll add a bunch of damage to it. Now you may be saying like, why would you want to do this if they're one-time use? Well, thankfully they're not. As you can see, the draw is really slow, but we're going to add modifiers. So see, like it sticks on the ground, you go back, you pick it up. It drops if you hit a mob with it after you kill the mob. Alright, so let's see. But obviously if this falls in lava, you're not going to get it back. We can add speed to the bow, so to increase the draw speed. So I'll up that right now, and I'll let you guys see it. Okay. Add 42, 43. There we go. Alright, so we got haste on the bow. Let's make it day. Still not quite as fast, but definitely went extremely far. Alright, so did that. And you can always add like knockback to the arrows if you wish. And we can add smite to it to make like holy arrows. And then we can always light things on fire. And then you can't add life drain though, unfortunately, which makes sense, I suppose, if you want to go by like a fictional standpoint. Alright, so that's the bow. And I think I essentially covered everything I wanted to do in this episode. So, if you like the video, or whatnot, please just give me a like or whatnot. I'm new to this whole thing, so it would be much appreciated. Also, check me out on Twitch. I live stream almost every day. My hours are in my bio on my page. You can check. It's this is the URL also included in the video. So that's the URL. So if you want to check me on Twitch, drop me a follow if I'm not on, and then you'll see when I'm online. Okay, guys. Have a good day. I hope to see you back for the next video. Thanks.